The Sedlec Ossuary is a small Roman Catholic chapel, located beneath the cemetery Church of All Saints in Sedlec, a suburb of Kutná Hora in the Czech Republic. The ossuary is estimated to contain the skeletons of between 40,000 and 70,000 people, whose bones have in many cases been artistically arranged to form decorations and furnishings for the chapel. The ossuary is among the most visited tourist attractions of the Czech Republic, attracting over 200,000 visitors yearly. 4 enormous bell-shaped mounds occupy the corners of the chapel. An enormous chandelier of bones, which contains at least one of every bone in the human body, hangs from the center of the nave with garlands of skulls draping the vault. Other works include piers and monstrances flanking the altar, a large Schwarzenberg coat of arms, and the signature of Rindt, also executed in bone, on the wall near the entrance. History. In 1278, Henry, the abbot of the Cistercian monastery in Sedlec, was sent to the Holy Land by King Otakar II of Bohemia. He returned with him a small amount of earth he had removed from Golgotha and sprinkled it over the abbey cemetery. The word of this pious act soon spread and the cemetery in Sedlec became a desirable burial site throughout Central Europe. In the mid-14th century, during the Black Death, and after the Hussite Wars in the early 15th century, many thousands were buried in the abbey cemetery, so it had to be greatly enlarged. Around 1400, a Gothic church was built in the center of the cemetery with a vaulted upper level and a lower chapel to be used as an ossuary for the mass graves unearthed during construction, or simply slated for demolition to make room for new burials. After 1511, the task of exhuming skeletons and stacking their bones in the chapel was given to a half-blind monk of the order. Between 1703 and 1710, a new entrance was constructed to support the front wall, which was leaning outward, and the upper chapel was rebuilt. This work, in the Czech Baroque style, was designed by Jan Santini Akel. In 1870, František Rindt, a woodcarver, was employed by the Schwarzenberg family to put the bone heaps into order, yielding a macabre result. In media, in 1970, the centenary of Rindt's contributions, Czech filmmaker Jan Angstrom Vankmoja was commissioned to document the ossuary. The result was a 10-minute-long frantic cut film of skeletal images overdubbed with an actual tour guide's neutral voice narration. This version was initially banned by the Czech communist authorities for alleged subversion, and the soundtrack was replaced by a brief spoken introduction and a jazz arrangement by Zdeněk Liaka of the poem Comment dessiner le portrait d'un oiseau by Jacques Prat. Copyright Vert. Since the Velvet Revolution, the original tour guide soundtrack has been made available. In the documentary Long Way Round, Ewan McGregor and Charlie Borman stopped to see this church. Dan Cruikshank also views the church in his Adventures in Architecture. The ossuary is a major plot device in the John Connolly novel The Black Angel. The ossuary is used as a location for the Dungeons & Dragons movie and the movie Blood and Chocolate. The ossuary was also featured in Ripley's Believe It or Not and is described by Cara Seymour in the final scene of the film adaptation. The ossuary was also the influence for Dr. Satan's lair in the Rob Zombie film House of 1000 Corpses. The ossuary was also the influence for Make Believe's album entitled Going to the Bone Church. The Sedlec Ossuary. See also, Capella dos Ossos, Capuchin Crypt, Skull Chapel in Chemna, Skull Tower. References, NIPOS, Statistica Culturae 2009, Idar L, Kulturna Dedictva My Czech Republic. My Czech Republic. Retrieved July 20, 2012. Jan Stružíč, Cezary. The 6 Creepiest Places on Earth. Crack.com. Retrieved July 12, 2012. External links, official website.